And we are live.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of MovieCast. Once again, I am your host, Dana Abercrombie, and I am joined by the ever so wise, ever so awesome Mr. Richard Bailey Jr. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well, Dana, and thank everybody for checking out tonight's special show.
Yes, thank you very much on what is a very busy weekend for a lot of people. A little game is releasing. So, but thank you for listening to us. So, what we're going to talk about tonight is this small, tiny little film that you may or may not have heard about. It stars Meagan Good, Michael Ealy, and Dennis Quaid, and his best Joker impression, and it is called The Intruder. If you have not heard, it is about a lovely widow named Dennis Quaid who sells his house, his like little mini McMansion, if you would, in the middle of the country, very quiet, nice neighborhood, plenty of deer. And he sells his house to a wonderful couple that is played by Meagan Good and Michael Ealy, and they just want a nice little simple life. And they have other plot stories going on with that. And it come to find out that Dennis Quaid, even though he sold his house to them, is not quite ready to let that house go. You could say he's like one of the world's worst non-landlord landlords. So we're gonna dive deep into this movie and pick the mind of Mr. Richard Bailey Jr. and my mind to see whether or not it is worth your time. Are you ready, Mr. Richard?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so first off, we got to start out. How did you like it? Did you like it? Was you screaming for more? Do you need that sequel, or did you hate it? What's going on?
Well, first and foremost, let me just to set the tone of my experience. I did get a chance to attend a red carpet screening of the movie earlier this week here in Atlanta.
Ooh.
Um, at the Regal Atlantic Station, cinema. For those that are wondering where I went, um, and therefore, Megan Good was there. We had the director, who I believe his name is Deon Thomas.
Deon Taylor.
Oh, Taylor. Oh, sorry. Oh, hey. I hope Deon doesn't sue me for that. Yes, and of course Michael Ealy was there as well. So I did get a chance to see the movie. They had a little speech beforehand, just thanking everybody for their support. Of course, there was a lot of cheers for Megan Good and a ton of cheers for Michael Ealy. So shout outs to them. So my thoughts on the movie. You asked me. I heard Dion mentioned that this is without a doubt one of the best psychological thrillers of 2019. I'm not sure if I agree with that statement per se. I will say, to me, this movie felt more like a comedy, even though there's some serious stuff that's happening to the characters in the movie. So my takeaway, just to give my early first reaction, I would say, for me, most of the movie was spoiled with the actual trailers. But if I had to say what I thought about it, I'll just say, listen, if you're looking for a movie where you can get a lot of laughs and you see characters do very dumb things, then this is a movie that you might want to check out. But other than that, I would not recommend somebody spend full price to see this movie.
Lord, sheesh, and people say I'm tough. That was a tough one there. Um, Let me break it down a little bit. Now, like I said, it's about this couple who is trying to buy a home, but there's a lot of other subplots that's happening. And I feel that because of that, the main story kind of gets lost and they try to do too many things at the same time. What you have is this couple that, on the surface, they seem very happy, very successful couple. But then you find out that their marriage is kind of very fractured. And it's just, it's hanging on, but it's kind of fractured. And there's a lot of insecurities and infidelity issues that's going on with the couple. Um, there's infidelities on the side of Michael Ealy, which is like not really explained aside from like a random argument scene that explains why they text each other, but it never fully develops into that full kind of storyline that you need. There's a lot of things that are mentioned that's never really explained. That was like one of my major problems with it. You had the whole texting with the cheating thing. Then their friends, who is played by that favorite guy that you love from Power, whose name is escaping me.
Yes, you're talking about Joseph Sikora.
Joseph Sikora. Yes. Well, I call male Tilda Swinton because he looks like Tilda Swinton, but he does. You can't. So Michael Sikora, he is best friends. He's with the couple. He's more of like the best friend of Michael Ealy. And there's a lot of things that he does that just doesn't really make any sense, including that they all go and have the housewarming party, but he decides instead of using their bathroom like a civilized person, he wants to pee in the lawn. Um, so there was a lot of things that just really didn't make kind of a lot of sense. But going with the main story, here's the thing where I think we differ a little bit. Intruder, you're not going to get obviously this Oscar winning thing. You're going to get, to me, it felt like silly fun. This is a movie you do not take seriously. You probably would watch on a streaming service. I do not say go out and spend your, what is it, $15 now, $25 on a movie
Oh,
ticket.
whoa! $25. Hold on. What theater is that?
I'm,
$25.
I'm in New York City. And like from last time I Googled, tickets were like $20 to $25. That's the last time I've Googled. Now, granted, the last time I've been in a movie theater was like during the first Avengers. But I believe it's 20 to 25. We do have matinees.
So
So
so so a quick question would you say that it's worth seeing at matinee prices, or is that still
at
too high?
matinee prices, we have $5. So you know what? I would say go in and spend your $5.
Okay.
Don't exactly get the popcorn and the soda because that's extra. Just sneak in and bring in your own. But here's the thing that I think that I really wish they would just kind of mainly focus on instead of dealing with a lot of backstory was the fact that Dennis Quaid, for me, he is the savior of this movie. Because it's one of those movies where he's having so much fun with this villain role that he's just really kind of like, it feels like he's kind of like just a big joke. But I mean that in the best way. Like, you know how you finally get to play the villain and you're doing all of these different, the movie pulls inspiration from other movies. So there's a shining, there's the shining moment. There may be a little bit of a Christie moment with the car. So the thing is that he really seems to be having a lot of fun on camera. The problem is that the script is kind of ridiculous. Like I said before, he's playing a guy who just won't let go of the home. And as a viewer, here's the thing with my theater, there was a lot of people screaming back at the screen. So
that happened in mine as well. Yep.
Yeah, there was a lot of "ooh, girl" moment, or "you better run." But the thing is that the characters, aside from Dennis Quaid, do a lot of stupid things where you're kind of like, why are you doing this? This is kind of like where like a serial killer would walk in with the butcher knife and says, I will kill you now. And the person would run upstairs and say, oh no. And this must be a dream and go to sleep. That's what it is. Like the characters do a lot of stupid things that just you would really question, why is this happening? We start off from the very beginning, let's get a house in the woods, and it's greeted, we get a whole image of a deer, which was kind of very similar to Get Out with
Yeah.
So it's a lot of different imagery and symbolisms from other movies, but I really don't feel that because it pulls from so much, it is original and unique in that way. I would have appreciated a more original type of even the cinematography, a better build up with that. But I will say Dennis Quaid is downright ridiculously funny. There, the thing with him is that he plays the really nice neighbor, and it starts off as like, and not the neighbor, the really nice landlord, and then he never really quite goes home, and then he starts making up these stories, but he puts a very sympathetic spin on them, where you kind of feel really bad for the guy, and so do the other characters, but it's kind of still creepy. The problem also with this movie that realized that it's with the script is the fact I don't know where they're trying to go with it. There are scenes where I feel that Dennis Quaid wants them out the house and he wants his house back. And then there are other times I feel that he wants to kill Michael Ealy and take Meagan Good as his wife.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it becomes confusing at times because there's not that clear cut answer where he's trying to kill you, but then at the very same time, he's licking you in a bed.
Well,
So, yeah.
I agree with that. I just want to make a couple of quick points. So let's start with that. That bed licking incident, man. A lot of the women, they saw that in the movie. They were like, ooh, wow. I guess they're not getting any of that at home. So that definitely got some type of reaction from the audience that I was at the screening with. Um, but I have to say I agree with everything you had to say about Dennis Quaid's character. The character is funny. You know, he is off the rails, and I do believe that he does save the movie. But I also agree with what you had to say of it was confusing the motives that they have for him, because we understand that he is obsessed. He does not want to give up his house, but yet he also wants Meagan Good, and of course Meagan Good's character is someone who is very sympathetic towards him and very easygoing. Just somebody that like somebody that can easily be manipulated and pushed over by someone else. So obviously, yeah, she does feel somewhat of a bond for him, and that's why he tries to use that to his advantage to say, okay, yeah, I'm a definitely oh, hold on, go, yeah, you go ahead and continue.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, that, and also, again, with the backstory of the cheating, they bring in a lot of subplots that they never really answer. And if I am supposed to have this distrust with Michael Ealy, there's a scene where, like, she explains that you cheated on me before, you have to text me. And then there's another scene where he's meeting his coworkers for drinks, and it seems like a very disjointed storyline, compared to the main part of Dennis Quaid is stalking me, and I don't know exactly how I should feel about that. So that is the issue with that, and also there's another plot with you kind of wonder what happened to Michael Ealy's wife. Not Michael Ealy, I'm sorry. What happens to Dennis Quaid's wife? Because, like I explained, he is a widow. But then they have this whole other plot of, is he a widow or is it something more? And that's where it becomes confusing because you don't know, like, it explains that he's going into debt and that he needs to sell his house, and he sells the house for several $1 million. He just never leaves, and it's kind of like, oh, he may have this problem with debt and everything that's going on, but nothing is really fully fleshed out. I feel that it's a bunch of random things that's thrown at you with
Yeah.
a lot of "ooh girl" moments. So
Oh yeah.
that was,
No.
yeah, that's the major issue that I kind of had with
Oh,
it.
oh yeah, no, I definitely agree, and sorry about that. I had to step away for a second, because somebody had a quick question to ask me. So my apologies, but yeah, this is what I was saying before is that I agree with everything you had to say about the character. There's a lot of other backstory that I wish we got on Dennis Quaid's character to show us how he got to this whole point of where he is now just completely off the rails. So I would have appreciated more of that. I know they had the scene that they showed towards the end about what really happened to the wife and all this other stuff, and but they don't really give you any other context as to how he got to that point, what else is happening with the character, and then as you mentioned, the whole thing with the debt situation, none of that was really explored, which I felt that it would have been great to get that insight. The other point I wanted to make, speaking of the backstory, um, I feel like one thing I will give them credit for is that they tried to tell you that the marriage between Michael Ealy and Meagan Good, they do have their ups and their downs, but I kind of feel like they were doing stuff with that which they didn't really fully explore because we had that whole thing where there's an incident where he decides to have a meeting with a client, a very attractive client by the way, and of course he sends a message to his wife instead of calling her, and knowing, and it's not, and of course she didn't like the fact that he didn't call her, but obviously this is something that has happened already. I would have liked to have seen why is it that she was that insecure about him not returning that call. I mean, I would have been good to know this has happened before. I mean, it's mentioned that it happened before, but I would like to really get a fuller idea of what they were doing, because even they had a scene before that when they went to go get ice cream, and he's having this whole conversation with the woman serving ice cream, like she's hitting on him or something. And I'm like, well, hold on a second. What's it? Kind of felt like they were trying to do something with the story with the other characters as well, but they didn't really commit fully to actually trying to do stuff with those characters, and just said, no, this is still about Dennis Quaid's character in the house and all this other stuff. So that was a little confusing for me.
Right.
But hey, I guess one thing I will say is that when I went to the screening, the director mentioned this is you're seeing Michael Ealy and Meagan Good in a totally different way than you've never seen them before in this movie, and I don't know if I agree with that fully, because they could have did a lot more with both of those characters, but for me, they didn't really push them as further as they could have. Not to say, that has a lot to do with the writing, because the writing could have taken it in a different direction. But I just think it's more of the same of what I have seen. I've seen Michael Ealy get mad before. He was in Barbershop. That was the movie that I think a lot of people really, the women really, fell head over heels for him in that movie because of the character he played, so on and so forth. But yeah, I don't really think they pushed it as further as they could have with him or her, in my opinion. Yeah.
um yeah, I know. I completely agree. The thing is, and like we said, we've seen Michael Ealy really be able to stretch himself. He was in The Perfect Guy. Remember that movie?
Why? Okay. Why does that sound familiar? Who else was in that movie with him?
Perfect Guy was the movie where he was literally like the perfect boyfriend, and
Oh yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. I completely forgot about that movie.
Noah Lathan and Morris Chestnut, and he was
Yes.
literally like the perfect man. But then you found out that he was crazy.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. You're 100% right. I do remember that movie now. And yeah, he did show a lot more in that movie than in this one.
So I really feel that he could have, if given the opportunity, I would have loved to see him, play that cheating kind of guy, and how that played into the emotions of Meagan Good, and how there was this distrust within the family, and if you have Dennis Quaid enter the thing, and how it could play off that distrust between Meagan Good and Dennis Quaid, because Meagan Good is very sympathetic towards Dennis Quaid, and Dennis Quaid is very manipulative,
Mm-hmm.
and that could have worked very well. And if you had, Michael Ealy being like that, that he in his way, the reason why they get the house is because he's trying to appease her. He keeps saying this is something that you want. I
Yep.
hope it, in order to make her happy. And at the end of the day, it's just a thing. And these are people with problems, and they're very relatable problems, but it never gets that far, which is the unfortunate thing. So I would have loved to, seen that happen. But again, it never gets there. But literally, the saving grace is Dennis Quaid, because he is able to play and able to actually show how multifaceted he can be as an actor. He's that, sympathetic guy, then he's also kind of pathetic, then he's crazy, then he's funny, and then he like turns into the Joker and like in the middle of it. So
yeah.
yeah.
No, I see. I completely agree with that. One thing that I thought they were going to do when I initially saw the trailer for this movie, and I saw the Intruder. Obviously, if you've seen the trailer, I mean, I feel like the trailer pretty much tells you the whole movie if you just watch it throughout from start to finish, which is fine. But what I thought they were going to do to really play up the title of the movie, also make you feel as though Meagan Good and Michael Ealy are also intruders and feel some type of sympathy towards Dennis Quaid. That's what I thought. That's what I thought they were going to do, but that's just they didn't go that route. So I mean, I would have liked to have seen that, because then I know that a lot of times when you show a character is three-dimensional, so then you also do get certain people rooting for that character as well. So that probably was a missed opportunity, but no, they didn't take that route.
In a slight way, I think they kind of touched on it, because remember when they are redecorating the home and Dennis Quaid has a complete meltdown?
Oh yeah.
When they're kind of intruding on his home, and they wanted to add an extra, I think it was another, they wanted to make that the room larger and knock out the wall.
That's a good point.
And there's a scene where he tries to I think stab or assault one of the people with the wine bottle.
Oh yeah.
So that would, in a way, they kind of touched on them intruding on his home, and this was something that he built from the ground up.
Yeah, exactly. Like he already had in his place, in his mind, this is how the house should look. This is the design of how it should look. And then even when Michael Ealy was installing the security cameras and stuff, he had that meltdown. Hey, wait a second! Don't be drilling holes in my house. It's like, wait, hold on. You sold us this house. So, yeah.
With the Afghan rug, remember he had a rug hung up, and they also gifted them I think an art piece, and he freaked out when they had their own art piece. So it was overall a weird movie, but I would say this: it would have been the perfect Lifetime movie.
Oh yeah.
I love me a good Saturday Lifetime movie where everything is crazy and doesn't make any sense. And the thing is that the pacing is very good. It goes by very quickly. It gets to the point, but it's just very muddled. That's the issue. The point and the plot and everything else is muddled. But the actors, they try their best with what is given to them.
Oh yeah, so yeah.
The plus side. But even the way how it's shot, it's kind of like, this is ridiculous. There are too many jump scares. There's too many let's go wandering in the night. And after the time, you're like, really? The black people are going to go in the woods and just start wandering around?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with that. And two quick points that I will make real fast. I was confused with the shots as well, because I will admit that I have never been to the Napa Valley, so I'm going to have to make a trip out there. But to see downtown San Francisco, which I have been to because I've attended GDC and other events, and then to see downtown San Francisco, and then all of a sudden to see this Napa Valley setting, to me, that didn't feel like that was in any way close to San Francisco at all. That just felt like that was like a totally different location.
It was Canada. The whole movie was filmed in Canada.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. They couldn't.
See, I didn't know that. Okay.
The thing is, they couldn't find a home in America.
Wow.
They couldn't find one for the budget that they had, because remember, it's just kind of like an independent film.
Yeah.
And they couldn't find budget, so they had to go to Canada, and they filmed in Canada. And the actual home that they filmed in is a haunted house.
Oh wow! Okay. So see, I definitely didn't know that information. That's great. That's great to know that. Okay, that makes sense.
In a weird way, I would say the best character aside from aside from Dennis Quaid is the house.
Yes.
The house is a character of itself. There are a lot of different little locations and secret hideaways in that house, which was hilarious how it's revealed. But the house itself kind of like has its own personality. So that was like the positive thing, because even though you don't know if he's obsessed about the house or is it Meagan Good, the house is like, hey, I'm wonderful. Look at me.
Oh yeah, well, I'm pretty sure Meagan Good is a close second to the house, if anything, the way he was obsessing over her.
I don't. There was a lot of licking, man. There was a lot of licking,
There
which was
wasn't
like
a lot.
it was a PG movie, so I don't know if they was kind of substituting the licking for like a sexual assault, because
Yeah,
you couldn't go Game of Thrones with it, so you had to like, I guess licking was the alternative.
yeah, yeah. No, I guess so. Yeah, you're right. Um, there's one point that I definitely want to bring up too, because you touched on a few of the other characters. I gotta say something about Joseph Sikora in this movie, because the screening that I went to, and I don't know if everyone will react to this when they see the movie, and like literally everyone in that screening when they were watching this movie, like, hey, Tommy, don't do this, don't do that.
Yes.
So I mean, it's gonna be hard for people to look at him as any other character outside of Tommy from Power.
Yeah.
Because that was the reaction that I got. But one thing I have to say is, after seeing how he performs in Power, there is part of me that wishes that we could have saw him get a little bit more crazy. Because I mean, he was, some of the stuff he did was dirty in this movie too. Tate decided to use the bathroom outside when he
It
could have
was
easily used the bathroom inside. Yeah.
stupid. It literally made no sense. Let me go outside of your house and pee. How that's I'm literally 2 feet away from your bathroom, but let me leave your porch, go into the woods,
Mm-hmm.
the tree. No, actually, go find your garden and pee on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yeah.
sitting here and it just didn't make any sense at all.
No, no, no. It definitely did not make any sense.
Um,
So I wish they definitely could have did more with him, but I understand that the focus had to be on Dennis Quaid and showing you how crazy that he can get. So that's totally okay. But I thought that was reaction. Those reactions were funny to me. How literally everyone in that theater that was talking when they saw him on screen, hey, that's Tommy. And then I heard somebody say when something happens later on, they're like, oh well, I hope that Ghost got your back. I heard a couple comments like that, but yeah, it's just like look at that actor. He does such a great job on Power. It's like it's hard for me to see him as another character. So hopefully he is aware of this and he is going to be working on other movies where he is playing some type of different character, something different about him that will make you look at him differently. But other than that, I was glad to see him in the movie. I just wish they did more with him. But yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then he'll always be Tilda Swinton to me. I just can't get that image out of my head. I'm sorry. So yeah, he's the ancient one. Um, but yeah, I would have loved to seen more with his character, and I would love to see his character just not be stupid. There were a lot of stupid the characters that they did use. It was kind of stupid with their
Oh yeah.
decisions.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, we have mixed reactions, mixed feelings about this movie. But I think we can kind of agree, if it pops up on Netflix and you're already home and you already have like a bag of popcorn that you have left over that you didn't finish, watch the movie. It's fun.
Oh yeah. I definitely would tell people to still check it out if they are interested. I also want to say, you know, I just want to take a minute out to give respect to Deon Taylor as an independent filmmaker. I'm not necessarily, I wasn't a huge fan of Traffic, and I know you wasn't a fan of Traffic either because of, because we had a discussion about this before. Um, but I still have to give him credit as an indie filmmaker because he had mentioned before he screened this movie, he mentioned when he made Traffic, a lot of that stuff he was out here selling, putting up posters and stuff. He did all the work to try to get that movie in front of people, and there were some people that saw it. So definitely, I'm glad to see he's doing his thing as independent filmmaker. He finally got Sony to back this movie, so that means he's doing something right. So
Yeah.
I definitely want to support him and say people should check out his movie. But if you want to check it out at the theater, um, maybe you could consider a matinee movie if you want, but definitely support him one way or another because I do think it's important for people to go see his movie, see what he's bringing to the table, and that will encourage him to hopefully do even better movies moving forward. But yeah, I have to reiterate though, if you want to go see it in the theater, not bad for a matinee. But I wouldn't say I wouldn't spend $25, 15, $20. I don't know about all that, man. But yeah, matinee, sure. Yeah, sure. Sure, definitely.
Yeah, no. The criticism that I have is solely kind of rests in the hands of the screenwriter. It's not Deon Taylor. Deon Taylor did a wonderful job of what he was given.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it is beautifully filmed.
Yes.
I think that is the positive parts. And he has an upcoming sports comedy drama with Jamie Foxx.
Oh,
And yeah, Jamie Foxx, Robert Downey Jr., Kim Jong, Gerard Butler, Benicio del Toro, Eva Longoria. So
I'm
drama.
definitely going to see that.
So he's moving up in the world, and I'm very happy for him because he is very talented.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, yeah. So this will, yeah. The upcoming one sounds a wee bit better than The Intruder. It's about two friends who find themselves fans of opposing NBA stars, LeBron James and Stephon and Curry. So
Yeah,
that
that
sounds
sounds that
hilarious.
sounds great. Yeah, that sounds like that'll be a really
And
fun.
French Montana's in it. Like the randomest people. The Game is in it.
Oh boy, yeah, the game.
LeBron is in it. Jeremy Piven is in it. DJ Khaled is in it.
Oh yeah. That
Yeah,
that's that sounds like that'll be entertaining. That'll be a
yeah,
nice fun
Leonard's
film.
in it. So right there is going to be funny. So support The Intruder. If you want to see matinee, if you want to wait to streaming, it's not bad. Isn't like this is the worst movie to ever exist.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a horrible film. I've seen worse movies.
Yes,
Um, but I would also tell anybody that if they are interested in seeing this movie, legit interested in seeing it, I would tell you do not watch any trailers. Avoid the trailer because literally the trailer tells you most of, if not the whole movie. So I
yeah,
don't. Yeah, I would say avoid the trailer.
yes, absolutely. So yeah, avoid the trailer. This is fun, popcorn fun. So don't think deeply into the movie, and you will have fun.
Absolutely.
So, any last comments that you have, Mr. Bailey?
Uh, no final comments. I'm very curious to see. Well, now I'm curious to know about this other movie he's working on, so I look forward to seeing that. And I also am looking forward to seeing what Meagan Good and Michael Ealy do next. So I wish them well, and I hope that the movie does make some money at the box office when it
Yeah,
hits theaters next week.
me too. And lastly, I just want to send out thoughts and prayers to John Singleton, who
Oh
has
yes.
been he had a stroke and he has slipped into a coma
Oh no. Whoa.
at the age of 51. So thoughts and prayers, and I really hope he pulls through.
Oh yeah. Thoughts and prayers indeed. I hope he does pull through. That's a
Uh,
serious situation.
yeah, yes, and he's very young. He's only 51, so
Hmm.
hopefully he pulls through and everything works out. So
Yes.
other than that, have a very good day, evening, afternoon. Thank you for listening to us. And join us again when we have a very big major show coming up about this small independent movie called In Game? Something with adventures? Not
Yes.
sure. One that flies around, probably.
yes, I definitely would tell people to stay tuned for that. That's going to be a fun show.
Mhm.
Obviously, we will be talking about spoilers because I think everybody will have already saw it, so just that's a fair warning. But yeah, stay tuned for that. We will be recording that next.
I have my tissues ready, so I'm ready. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Yes.